Welcome to another episode of Tales from Tatooine podcast. I'm Jacob.
Fish.
And Ben.
We have our first guest ever. Probably our last one when we get boycotted.
Our only one.
Yeah.
When we say all the things we're going to say today. No. We have a special guest, Ben from Nerd Church Radio, an awesome podcast about DC.
Yep. DC Comics.
DC Comics. Classic. That's what's going to lose us all the subscribers right there.
They're all going to leave us and go to him.
Well, this is such a great episode, mainly because we are less than 2 weeks, not even. By the time this airs, we'll be 6 days out from The Last Jedi.
Yeah, 6. Wow. So we're that close, huh?
We're so close. I can remember when it was 2 years.
2 years. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so exciting. Today, in celebration of next week's release of The Last Jedi, we're going to be going over our predictions of The Last Jedi. I just realized I said that quite a bit. But it's going to be pretty full episode because it's going to be so filled with Jedi.
To the brim.
Filled with Star Wars.
We're going to be discussing our predictions, what we hope will happen, what we hope won't happen. We're going to be doing a breakdown trailer, kind of discussing some points in that for what's upcoming. None of the TV spots, because we do a whole podcast on just trailers and TV spots.
With all the TV spots.
Pretty much the
we
movie.
don't have time for that.
There's so many TV spots.
I know.
Too.
I'm telling you, they did it because they have to make up for having that long gap between the teaser trailer and the real
like,
trailer.
Here, have a trailer tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
But eventually, they're like, you know what? Let's give them little tidbits.
Little tastes.
And man, has it satiated my palate for Star Wars over the last few weeks as we're getting closer and closer to the point where we're counting down hours now. Hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it feels good.
Do any of you guys have like a counter app?
Oh, yeah,
on
we
your
both
phone?
got it.
Oh, we both got it.
We've looked at it like 95 times today. We're like, look,
Oh my gosh.
45 seconds have passed.
11 days, 3 hours. Yay.
I don't have one, but I have a friend who loves Star Wars, and he texts me like every 2 days, like a countdown, like just a screenshot of his countdown, and that's my countdown. I'm like, thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's just getting so close. You can taste it. It's so great. But before we get into that, as always, we're going to go over the news. So here's the news.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Rian Johnson just kind of like commented on the fact that he's like excited to tell a new Star Wars story with no limitations. So I'm not sure what direction he's going in with it or whatever. I mean, a lot of people are saying like Knights of the Old Republic. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean,
I'm pretty excited for it.
As any Star Wars fan right now is saying, they want Old Republic stuff.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Because the lore just in that is so vast and so just amazing.
It's exciting.
You can't help but be like, man, I just want to see the movies. I will say though, the only thing that has me hesitant about him doing a trilogy in that era is I feel it limits what they can tell. You know, like 3 movies of the Old Republic.
Well, maybe if they'll just start with the 3, and if they go well, then he'll get another 3, and he can continue. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I mean,
and then we'll just have 2 parallel, sagas going.
It could be. I think I would almost prefer the show that they're doing to be in the
show
era.
would be good.
You know?
Yeah,
because like the Clone Wars
more.
covers 2 years of time, or roughly about 2 years, and it's 6 seasons. Mm-hmm. You give me 6 seasons of Old Republic stuff. You can keep going.
True.
10 seasons, you can keep going. I mean, it's going to be on their own streaming service, so it's like 100% profit.
Right? Yeah,
yeah,
it's true.
Totally.
But I do believe that he's definitely stepping away from where we're at now. And I mean, like the whole like 30 years pre-Clone Wars to 30 years post Last Jedi, that whole era is not going to be at all explored.
Thank God.
Yeah, his quote was, right now there's all the freedom in the world. That's the whole thing that's exciting to me, is let's go some new places, let's meet some new folks, let's see what else is out there. Let's have one story told over 3 films in this galaxy with no limitations. And then it's basically he's saying like they're gonna go somewhere they've never gone before. And I don't know with that if he means like Star Wars movies have never gone before, because if you count the Legends book stuff, I mean, there's not many places they haven't gone with that stuff. So
yeah, I think we kind of just discussed this a little bit in the previous podcast. There's definitely a lot of mystery about what that means. When you're talking about not doing something that's been done before, is it just in general? I don't think it means that. I think it probably has been touched on a little bit in Legends, but not in canon. So no characters from canon. No, I mean, which is kind of tricky though, because there's characters that you kind of want in a movie that have been discussed in canon, you know?
Yeah.
But overall, I think that we're going to get a new story. It'll definitely have to do with Jedi and Sith.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to touch into that.
All the Sith.
It's not going to just be like, oh, let's make a movie about some random star system that is, they mine kyber crystals all the time that no one knows about, that's plotting some secret uprising, you know, some weird, just like, oh, well, this kind of sounds Star Warsy. Yeah. It'll definitely be like something we can relate to, because it has to transition, because I don't think we're going to get this huge gap between episode 9 and the new trilogy. I think they'll keep the 2-year timeline. So if it's too much like of a different thing, people are going to kind of be turned off by that.
Yeah.
You know, because we have to remember, as much as it pains to say this whole thing is not designed for super deep fans.
The casual viewer.
The casual viewer. Like, they want the billions. They are going to focus on that. You see it in the way Marvel does their movies. Disney does the Marvel movies, you know? It's catered to a wide audience. So it's not going to be like nitpicky, let's go over like the first 10 years of the Sith Empire. You know what I mean? It's going to be... which we would totally...
We could. I'm okay with
I'm not
that.
saying don't do it,
No,
Disney.
you'd be okay with that, Fish.
But overall, it's going to be something that can be tied into what we're seeing now. That way the transition's smooth for everyone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. I mean, I think, like, I can already tell by his directive style and stuff that it's going to be different enough probably that I'm really going to enjoy it. I'm stoked for, like, I mean, I love Rian Johnson, Looper, and all the stuff he's done. So.
I think overall, because of the success of the anthology films being so, like, tonal wise being different than the sagas, they're like, okay, you know, we have a little bit of room. Rogue One did excellent. The hype for Solo is excellent. So there's going to be a lot of, they're like, okay, we have a leeway. We don't have to stick to this cut and dry Lucasfilm ideals. You know, they get to hammer it in a little more nuance in the storytelling. Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely get something different. I think The Last Jedi in itself is going to be so different than the tone of any other movie we've had so far. Yeah. Which is so exciting, and what I think has a lot of people excited for Last Jedi is you can feel it is different. You know, and it's kind of a shame that he's not doing the 9th episode, but you know, I like J.J. Abrams.
I like J.J.
You know? I like The Force Awakens. It was a great little soft reboot of the franchise, so I'll take it.
It's like I don't know, to me it was like the best Star Wars fan film ever made. Like, it felt, and like, I'm not saying that as like a slight to J.J. Abrams or anything. It's just, you can tell how much he loves Star Wars and the trilogy films when he made it or whatever. Like, it's very, very much like has that tone of the original trilogy.
And that was, I think, their purpose. You know, I said it before. They wanted to kind of like distance Disney from the prequels a little bit, and they wanted to bring back the nostalgia of the original trilogy. So they really pushed hard, and you saw it right from the beginning. He was like, "I'm using practical effects. You know, we're using real locations." Like the whole point was to be like, "Okay, we get it. You guys hated the green screen shit show that was most of the scenery of the prequels. We're going to give you something real." And then when you watch it, you can feel connected to the film. And now we're getting into The Last Jedi, which not only does the practical side of things, but their storytelling, that's what it is. It's not a crazy action adventure film. It's character driven. And we're going to see that come through, especially in like the Luke-Rey relationship, the Kylo-Snoke relationship, the Kylo-Rey relationship. So much of the characters playing off of each other that the battle scenes, which we'll still get
Finn and Phasma.
Finn and Phasma, we'll still get really good battle scenes and stuff, but overall it's just gonna be so grounded and character driven that it's gonna feel almost like a drama with lightsabers. which is
totally
fantastic.
Okay.
Let's see, this one's important, and this is going out to the interwebs. Very clear I'm making this. It has been confirmed Snoke is not Sith. Not Sith. If you watched last week's episode, you know that we believe Snoke is what's called a will, which is neither Sith nor Jedi. It's not really anything except itself a will. But this confirmation is a very important step in what the thoughts and theories and stuff go towards Snoke. So we cut and dry, not a Sith. Excellent news. Excellent news. And this comes from Andy Serkis, who plays Snoke. So the interview was with Express magazine. He also said he's darker than Palpatine, which is kind of crazy to think about. Which would make sense if he's connected directly to the dark side of the Force or whatever.
He's just the embodiment of Force itself.
Yeah.
You could very easily be darker or lighter than anything.
Yeah, he is Force.
Yeah.
But it does bring up some interesting dynamics to think about concerning why he's so mad and angry. You know, what set him on that path. It's not just power. You know, power plays a big part, the emotional side of the power play, but there's got to be something deeper.
Well, he used to be this celestial being with infinite power and life and all this other stuff. Used shit wrong, and now he's this meat sack stuck in the real plane. You know, I mean, I'd be a little
Probably has something to do with how his face is all fucked up. Like I'm like seriously.
Maybe
like,
that transition is a little dangerous.
He was a beautiful being once.
Yeah.
Now he's like, my face is all. This whole thing set in motion because of vanity.
Well, no, I think like he's been through a physical trauma though.
Sure.
Like that's apparent. Like he's all disfigured and stuff, and he's got a grievance with someone. Like whoever that is, I don't know, but.
Andy
Maybe
Serkis
the
did
other
say,
wills did that to him,
right? Tortured him with force. Like there's that cinematic trailer for the Knights of the Old Republic, where that girl is being transitioned to the dark side, and they're just bombarding her with force energy.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
that was
Andy
a cool
Serkis,
trailer. Too.
Dude, that trailer, make a movie like that.
Yeah. Right.
But Andy Serkis says that he's twisted like a corkscrew. He's just so, he said osteoporosis, just degraded, falling apart, hardly alive. So you can see the desperation in that when he's moving forward with this plan, as we said, to pull the energy from Rey so he can be back to his original form.
Interesting.
But the fact that he's not Sith, I think, is the most important part. And it goes back to the transition from this story, the Skywalker tale, to a new line of storytelling that can incorporate more than just Jedi Sith. You can be like, okay, these new beings are X. Let's build off of that. Jar Jar is not episode 8. Confirmed.
Hallelujah.
Darth Jar Jar. Nope, not a thing.
Yeah.
I also saw in there it said Jar Jar will never be in any Star Wars film ever again.
I believe it. I do. I was kind of bummed out, man, because like I for some reason hadn't like thought you guys were talking about the Jar Jar thing today, so I was looking at. I looked for the first time. I looked up all these theories about because I've heard like about how like I've heard people mention the evil Jar Jar thing. And I think there's a lot of credence to it. We don't have to go down that route, but yeah, I'm not surprised that he's.
We'll bring you on for another episode. Yeah. We'll talk all Jar Jar.
Jar Jar all day.
I'm not surprised that he's not going to be in Force Awakens.
Unless that's the super reveal that they're wanting to like get everyone away from that idea. They're like,
do they want me to burn everything down?
The best cameo would be him like frozen in carbonite.
Yes.
Like in the background, just like the quickest.
Yes,
when like they introduced that DJ character who's like a pirate or whatever, and he's like maybe he's like his character, the collector, and
that's what I was just about to say.
Jar Jar frozen in the background.
There is a collector. I don't know how like if we're like don't bring up Marvel or whatever, but like in Infinity War, the collector has Tobias Fuke from Arrested Development in his room, like as a collection, like. Yeah, and that's like a thing that's in the movie.
That's awesome.
Like,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, give me a cameo like that. Yeah, I will accept in a heartbeat. That'd be like the best ode to the continuation of their story than to just kill off Jar Jar in the most subtle way possible. I mean, even in a half second, someone will see it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then I'll see it,
We'll
and
find
then I
it.
will feel so good. Daisy Ridley, in an interview, stated very specifically that she does not want to continue the Rey story after Episode 9.
But she said she will.
She said she will, only because I think you kind of have to be like, oh, of course I would love to keep doing it. But the way she talks about it, she feels so strongly that the story is going to be wrapped up that she doesn't even need to contemplate the idea of continuing the story. It ends, which brings up so many questions about what happens. I mean, they're not going to kill her.
I don't know, man. I don't know if anyone's safe. Really.
That's a good point. We did lose Han, and we know who's coming next.
Yeah.
Should we have spoilered that? The Han thing? If you're watching this and you haven't seen The Force Awakens...
spoiler?
Spoiler, hashtag get with it.
I don't think anyone...
Catch up.
6 days, people.
It's like pop culture, common knowledge at this point that Han Solo's
just part of the
not alive
zeitgeist.
What do you
anymore.
mean Han Solo's dead?
Yeah.
Who's Han Solo?
Get out.
Get out.
Did you guys know about that, like going into Force Awakens, that had happened?
Didn't we talk about something? We
talked
knew that
about
a character would have
somebody
to
was gonna
die.
but we didn't know it was gonna be Han.
We did know that Kylo Ren was Ben Solo, though.
Yeah.
We went in pretty much... So that reveal was like... But the Han scene leading up to it, I knew. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen.
This is gonna happen.
But no, thankfully... And that... It's one of those fucking things that came out way before the movie. Like those don't watch this spoiler things that they still put like the spoiler in the thumbnail or in the title. You know, it's like don't watch, but it's like spoiled.
Yeah.
Oh, that was one of those things.
This person dies in Star Wars, spoiler alert, and then there's a picture of Han Solo.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck,
Exactly.
man?
Yeah.
That's why
Stop doing that.
And that's what's happening right now. So there's all of these videos coming out, people leaking who have, they've done some press viewings, right? I'm pretty sure they did their red carpet carpet event last week or something. But there's people who've seen the film. There's people who have scripts that are starting to leak all this information. There's these big Star Wars channels that are like, oh, in fact, actually, the news, the next bit of news I knew about almost a week ago, only because someone had posted a thumbnail that was like a spoiler about it. And that's the introduction of a new lightsaber color. It's been confirmed today from Rian Johnson. We don't know what the color is, but they posted that.
in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, in The Last Jedi.
Oh wow.
But
Who could
pink.
be who could be using a lightsaber other than Kylo, Luke, and Rey? Like
Snoke. Snoke probably.
Probably has one. Probably doesn't really need to use it. Like Palpatine.
Yeah,
Has one.
okay.
Probably doesn't need it.
I can see that happening, but I feel, again, it's like a Palpatine thing where he doesn't want to use a lightsaber. Mm-hmm. I feel like the most likely person to use a different color lightsaber will be someone who's part of the Knights of Ren, because they use ancient weapons that is some ancient color.
That would make sense.
yeah.
We don't know what that color is. It's not. There's a lot of speculation, especially the article that dropped this. One, it's not a dark saber. Okay, it's not.
Already exists.
It's not a white lightsaber because
already exists.
we know where that comes from and who's going to be who's going to use their light side force to bring back a kyber crystal from the dark side. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
And even if it did, it's not. It was pretty clear with the wording: introduction of a new lightsaber color. So the idea that it's going to be one
White,
we've
black,
already seen is not
yeah.
likely. It's very likely either one was like a golden color for the whole
Right.
Snoke thing.
For Snoke, which I could totally see.
You can see like with the wills,
Be fancy,
gold is a
yeah.
pretty big thing. Or like a lightsaber that kind of transitions colors, goes
Which would
between.
be super cool.
Because the idea is the color comes from the kyber crystal's connection with the user. So if someone like Snoke uses it, who we believe is tapped into the whole of the Force, his essence would be all over the place. He can use light and dark side. He makes it part of his training with Kylo. Why not be able to transition between the two, or iridescent kind of?
This could be a far leap. When they say lightsaber color, are we certain that they're referring to the blade and not the actual hilt of the lightsaber? Because when you
No.
mentioned having a gold lightsaber, we know that Snoke's definitely wealthy, and it just seems like something. It's like
I could see his hilt totally being gold.
Like having a gold toilet in your house. You
Oh, yeah.
just like, I have a gold lightsaber, motherfucker.
It could be. I doubt it, but it could be both. It could be a lightsaber.
Gold blade and hilt.
Yeah.
You know how fancy that would be on the clubhouse wall?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, I'm just...
It'd be like Saddam Hussein, the golden guns, like for the
Yeah.
HBO series, where he just has a bunch of golden weapons.
Yes.
He's got like a bunch, and it wouldn't even just be a lightsaber. He's got like lightsaber nunchucks that are golden. And
lightsaber nunchucks.
We're gonna make this happen.
Yeah. I like it when they do cool things with the hilts, though.
Yeah.
Like, there was some stuff in the prequels with cool hilts. I forget who had them or whatever.
Dooku had a badass one.
Yeah.
I think they might. That seems probable. Mm-hmm. Although on the same side, I'm still think that he's beyond the lightsaber usage, and he's too. Unless he actually pulls the force from someone and becomes stronger, he can't fucking fight with a lightsaber.
No, but that doesn't mean he doesn't own one.
That's true, but why would we see it if he's not going to use it? He's like, hey, Luke.
I mean,
look
we
at that shit.
see Palpatine's and he never uses his.
He uses it in the prequels.
Once for a hot second. But
Well, he uses it twice. He kills those Jedi when they come to arrest him, and then he uses it when he's fighting Yoda.
Well, that's right.
Oh, does he?
Does
yeah,
it?
there was
Well,
two
yeah.
times. Yeah,
when he does
okay.
fight. We just watched that today.
How many
Flips?
Here's some trivia for you. There are 85 flips in the first 6 movies of Star Wars. True
Yep.
flips. Over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Head over feet, feet over head.
Thank you, IGN, for
How many-
a video a year ago.
I wonder how many of those are Jar Jar.
One.
Yeah.
There's like
there's
15
more than
jumps
there was
into the
more than
water.
one because when he jumps into the water, he flips like twice. He
Yeah,
doesn't-
they
I
counted
think they
it
counted it as
one.
one.
Oh, really?
Because part of that flip is like a corkscrew.
twist.
Oh, okay.
It's a
okay,
twist.
cool.
You can't
And a lot of
count
Darth
twists.
Maul
Yeah.
stuff is twists.
Yeah.
A lot of it's just fucking Yoda, like flipping around.
Yeah, the fight. There was like 10 in just that scene.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's the news for the week. Let's jump right into our predictions for The Last Jedi. So, before we discuss our predictions, we thought it'd be fun to kind of do a breakdown of the official trailer released in October. There has been countless breakdowns of this, but it kind of ties into where we go with our predictions because it kind of gives us a little bit of a springboard for ideas.
Yeah.
So we'll post one for you to watch right here-ish. Bing!
Yeah, that works.
And yeah, if there's a point, you just say pause, and we'll pause it, okay?
Cool.
Let's get this guy going. So we know that's Kylo.
When I found you, I saw raw, untamed power.
Such a cool shot.
Pause. So there's a lot of speculation about who Snoke is talking to throughout this trailer. But the international trailer used very specific subtitles for the genders. And in this particular one, he's talking to Rey.
I was gonna say, I swear, I think it's Rey. Yeah.
So it's using a lot of female parts of, I think it was the Japanese or Taiwanese trailer
okay.
that did it. So
Because she's a Palpatine.
yeah.
You think?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Watch our Ray Palpatine podcast.
Oh, there's some pretty convincing arguments that she is with her just fighting style and stuff.
Yeah. But that's who he's talking to in this scene. They're just trying to make it seem like Kylo is the one he's talking to, but it's not likely that it's him.
And beyond that, something truly special.
Pause. So we know now from all the TV spots that this is her training with her staff on Octo 2, and she gets upset that she's training with this fucking staff, right? She's like, I got this lightsaber in my bag. I'm going to start training with that. And we kind of see it later on in the trailer where Luke is up on maybe that's a teaser, but Luke is up on some stairs and she's training down here. It's very likely she doesn't know he's watching her train in that moment.
Something inside me has always been there.
So this is the prediction. because we know that we're going to see the beginnings, you know, with the wills, and because he has the journal and he's pretty much spent the last few years researching the origins of the Force, that this tree here is a burnt out tree like we see in the Clone Wars. I can't remember the name. Is it called Force Tree? Does anyone remember?
Yeah, because, like, did you guys ever read Shattered Empire?
No.
The comic? So, like, it was like a 4 or 5 issue comic that Marvel released that took place immediately after Return of the Jedi. And Luke goes on this, like, mission right after Return of the Jedi to get these Force trees. And there were 2 of them. One of them ended up right outside Poe Dameron's parents' house, and one of them ended up with Luke. But that's why the Force is strong with Poe Dameron or whatever. But all that took place in these 4 comics. So
I wonder. I doubt that this is the tree he found in that.
Oh, okay.
Because that would we get a tree in 30 years. I don't think it works that way.
Yeah,
unless they're
especially if
Force trees.
I mean, through the rocks and the roots are in the cave.
Because there's a scene where you see the journals on that little shelf, and those are roots around it. So it's very likely that underneath this tree is where he's keeping those journals.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And he lives in one of those cave house things or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is probably maybe the origin tree that seeded all the others. I mean, if this is
quite
the home of the first Jedi Temple, it would make sense that the original tree's there.
Yeah.
Now, hashtag spoiler, it is speculated that this tree is burnt out prior or after we see it for the first time. That Kylo burns it.
Okay.
Okay.
This is something I heard like 2 years ago. So who knows? And like there was like a photo from a shoot that they were doing, and so who knows for sure. But it definitely looks burnt out here. But Rey is looking like she's just now getting to Octu. So who knows where in the story that's actually taking place. But I do believe that there's going to be a big push to the connection between Force users and the Force in its many forms of connectivity to us. Again, to move past the whole midichlorian thing, to show that there's more to it than that. And I think the tree is going to play a very large part in that.
Octu is the island they're on at the end of Force Awakens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But now it's awake. And I need help.
So that little scene there, him on the rocks, is likely him watching over her.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now.
We talked about this in one of our 2-3 podcasts ago.
Yeah, the Rey Palpatine.
The Rey Palpatine one. Yeah.
So I don't think that he's talking to her in that scene. It's very likely he's talking to a Force ghost.
Yeah.
And we know now, due to some TV spots, that in this particular scene, he's coaching her through meditation.
Yeah.
And he's asking her to describe what she's seen. And she's talking about the light, the dark, and something else. But that something else is like pulling her in. Speculation that Snoke, I think it's something a little more than that Snoke is also tapped into. I think we kind of discussed in one of our podcasts. The Force on our realm is kind of like a wave.
The living force.
And the living force, and that wave can be picked up on, like it can be tuned into. And when she starts to meditate, she's sending shock. She's like kind of running against the current of that wave. And Snoke, who's picks up on those, that's how he's able to find her. So it is speculated that Kylo Ren eventually makes his way to Octu. How would he find out they're there? Unless, because no one told, they're not like blabbering on, oh, she found Luke Skywalker. It's very likely that when she's tapping into that, and Luke knows it, that's why in the TV spots he's yelling not to give in. That's Snoke kind of pinpointing where she's at.
Yep.
And then eventually sending the Knights of Ren there to capture her.
So I don't know, like at the end of Force Awakens, who were they targeting with Starkiller Base? They were targeting the Rebel base, right?
Well, they were targeting rebel planets or the new galactic senate.
Oh, I thought they were
planets and stuff.
targeting like where Leia was at that time.
No,
No,
I don't
they
think
weren't.
so.
I don't think they knew.
Okay,
And
so
she's-
they don't know where. Okay,
No,
cool.
and I think in this movie she mostly resides either on that is it Canto Bright, something like that. That one planet, the snow planet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting lost with all these names right now.
Too many planets.
Yeah.
Where's our map?
Yeah.
Right,
We need one.
but she's either there or on their own rebel spacecraft.
Yeah.
But the planets they blew up, those 3 planets, those were homes of the New Republic. One of them especially was home of that. So they're just decimating star systems, or that's what their plan was. But to think that Snoke doesn't have a backup for that,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully not Death Star Part 4, but something else. And it is speculated that he himself can destroy planets, so
With his mind.
with his mind. So who
Oh
knows?
wow,
Yeah.
really?
There's really no telling how far that goes, but the idea is that it's pretty sound that he has the power to do horrible things. But that's where this kind of whole thing comes in, that he's upset with her raw strength and her giving in to whatever it is she's seeing, because he knows the dangers of that. But, I don't think that he's going to go dark side or that she's going to go dark side necessarily, but I think that he's going to be so frustrated with her power and his inability to tame it that that's what's going to cause the rift between them.
Yeah.
Which is what I would like to see. I'd like to see the rift being formed not by negligence, just by like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I tried, I failed, I can't do this. And we see it in other TV spots that she knows that Kylo Ren, that he feels that failure. And she wants to reiterate that she is not Kylo. She will not fail. But how do you get over that? The fall of everything you built at the hands of someone that you adored is going to have a huge emotional impact on him,
Yeah.
which we'll see play again. Character driven. We're going to see that play into his interactions with Rey. And she's going to be kind of disenfranchised by that. She's going to feel so excluded from what he could teach her that she's going to seek other means. Not dark side. I don't think she's going dark side. I would hate to see her go dark side. She can dabble in it, but she's not going Sith or whatever.
No, I don't think she'll go Sith, but I think she'll definitely dabble in the dark side in her journey to find herself. I mean, assuming she is a Palpatine, you can't. I mean, how can you not tap into that?
I mean, you would have to.
What are y'all's thoughts on Grey Jedi?
I don't.
That's been a thing in the books, in the Legends books,
Yeah.
right?
So the big speculation is that Luke is going to be gray,
Great.
but they're not going to call it that.
No, I think they'll call it something else.
I don't think they're going to call it anything. I don't think they're going to have a term for it.
No.
I think they're going to the whole Last Jedi, I believe, that's Luke.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
And he knows that the Jedi-Sith dynamic is antithetical to the Force. He probably, through his research, knows a great deal about what it means to be connected with the Force. And he's going to push to try and get away from the whole Jedi-Sith thing by just walking away. I'm going to die, and the Jedi with me, And Rey is likely at some point going to push him to see that it's important to try and tap into both, or not even tap into both, to be more in tune with the Force, which is both,
To be fluid with it.
Yeah, you can have emotion and still be a light side user. You can have discipline and still be a dark side user. The whole, I bet you in 2 years, our whole vernacular about describing the Force and Jedi and Sith is going to be different.
Very different.
Because we're going to have means of describing it differently. It's no longer going to be, we're not going to say, oh, they're Jedi, they're Sith, oh, they're light side, they're dark side. It's going to be, oh, they're tapped into this part of the Force and they're tapped into this part of the Force. And it's going to be far more range, a spectrum of Force usage that right now is so black and white.
Or blue and red.
Blue and red. Dun, dun, dun.
Dark side till death.
But yeah, he probably gets angry at her at this scene, and that's why she's giving that face. But she's not being talked to in that moment. He's likely talking to either Force Ghost Yoda, maybe even Obi-Wan, or Anakin. We don't really know. Qui-Gon, who fucking knows?
I could see it being Obi-Wan.
Let the past die.
Yeah, you think he... So they've said that like they have not altered Carrie Fisher's storyline in this, which leads me to believe that she probably... You don't think?
No, I don't think
this one.
No, because in the interview with Ryan Johnson, who says that he didn't make any changes, he says that the death of Carrie Fisher is now on J.J. Abrams to figure out, which seems to imply that Leia is alive. Okay. And they have to figure out how to kill Leia, who is not dead in The Last Jedi. But I definitely don't think Kylo kills her. And I don't think, even in the next movie, that Kylo's going to be the one to kill her.
I don't think Kylo would have it in him to kill his own mother.
Well, it definitely seems like, I mean, he still has a pull to light side. Mm-hmm. So his struggle is still consistent with who he is as a Force user in general. Right. But I think Snoke wants that. Because it seems to me that Snoke is definitely light side and dark side. You need both. Or you're not going to be as powerful as you can be. But he probably still does see that pull to his mother as a weakness. You know, he shouldn't have attachments, but he should still be able to tap into both. I think in this beginning scene that he is attacking her or one of her fleets, and he doesn't kill her. And later on, he's punished by Snoke for not doing it by having to fight his guards. And that scene where he picks up the hilt of his lightsaber is him getting ready to battle them. Because if you see just for a very quarter of a second, they move just ever so slightly.
In the background right there.
And then, of course, with the TV spots of them training and stuff, he definitely fights more than one person at a time that's trained. So it's not going to be Rey, Finn versus Kylo kind of shit. It's going to be him against someone who is powerful enough to pose a challenge.
Yeah.
So it's very likely that it's a punishment for not killing Leia towards in the first act.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down. Come on!
So excited to see more Phasma action.
And see her actually do something. You know, like she was so underplayed and like that actress is just such a strong girl powerhouse. You know, like I want to see her kicking ass.
Oh, and you will. You don't get an actress like that to just stand around.
I mean, she's Brianna freaking. You know what I mean? She kicks some serious ass. But you can see in that scene that in the background, they obviously infiltrate the First Order on their dreadnoughts, and that's them fighting on that. The same one we see in the beginning with Kylo looking out. You can see that's the same one that fight's taking place. So all that shit burning down is obviously them taking down that destroyer. Like just getting to see her in action and even Finn in action. You know, hopefully it'll put an end to the whole he's a Jedi rumors because
when she kicks his ass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not going to go the way you think.
That's like a mantra for the movie, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's
another instance where the foreign trailers show who he's talking to. In this case, that was using male indicators, so it's very likely he was talking to Kylo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Again, you know, it must be noted that this is just people on the internet. But the source is pretty clean, and the verbs and whatever used are verifiable. But you know, there's always things being thrown in there that could be just trying to fuck with us a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you look very closely, that skull right there, you see it?
Shit. Yeah.
So, I believe this is part of her training. We know that her and Luke go off planet at some point. That he takes her somewhere to fight a creature that either that is of or that killed that skull creature right there to fight. Kind of like him fighting the Rancor.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's what I thought of immediately.
Yeah,
when you said that.
So her part of her training is to defeat this creature.
Hell yeah.
Fulfill your destiny.
So probably one of the biggest parts of this whole trailer.
Yeah.
Her in garb that we see after her training. So very likely after her moving away from the Luke.
I like how it's all gray.
Yeah.
Zero browns
Right.
or blacks.
Yeah.
But we believe that this is her having her force pulled from her by Snoke.
Mm-hmm.
And it's speculated that this is a scene where Luke comes to save her and he fights some guards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know from one of the images released about 2 weeks ago that Kylo is in the room when this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an interesting thing because because I don't think they're going to team up. That's just crazy talk.
Do you think he takes her there against her will?
I think that she might go there with him on purpose. When he makes some promises to her about finding out who she really is. But I think that this scene is going to spark some jealousy in Kylo because Snoke prefers her over him, and it's going to create that rift in there. Because I don't think Kylo is going to go light side, but I think he's going to kind of branch away from like the Snoke, like, you know, the Vader Palpatine dynamic. He's going to tear away from that, realizing
Master
that
apprentice.
he's kind of getting fucked over essentially, and he wants to move away from that. And I think this scene here is going to be that.
Well,
moment.
I mean, watching this, she doesn't look like she's enjoying herself. Why would he want that?
Because it means that she's more powerful.
Yeah, which she is.
Well, she is.
She is, but would he want to admit that? Someone who's been trained since a toddler to be a Force user, who's a fucking descendant of Vader, you know, the master of the Knights of Ren, the apprentice of the
Well, imagine how he's going to feel when he realizes who she's a descendant of. Assuming, again, she's a Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Just show me my place in all this.
Yep, the rom-com trailer. Definitely a red herring, for sure. Mainly two things. One, that's her talking to Luke. I'm fairly certain of it.
Yeah.
You can hear an echo. It looks like a cave behind her. The flames are coming from in front of her. I doubt that she's talking to Kylo with flames in between them like a campfire. And there's shit falling from the sky behind Kylo.
Very Mustafar type.
Oh, I hope they go to Mustafar.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if they did.
Oh, I mean, Vader's castle's still there. Mm-hmm. It's built on an ancient Sith location. With, why wouldn't Kylo be obsessed with being there? You know, if he's obsessed with Vader.
Fuck, I would live there.
And we don't. I mean,
who would
decorate this whole room? I want more shag carpet.
Fire.
Yeah,
it's definitely interesting.
Could be a red herring. Could also be like, a red herring of a red herring. Like
who knows?
He knows that people are gonna think it's a red herring, but maybe it's not. I mean, Rian Johnson just loves to pull surprises.
This is true.
He was pretty adamant before they dropped this trailer that people kind of stay away from it a little bit.
Like, don't watch it. Which I'm sure later he was like, no, do watch it. And I'm sure he got some flack from the Star Wars reps. Like, the people at Disney were like, you can't tell people not to watch the trailer, Ryan. Like, this is our promotional
Look here,
material.
Ryan.
Do you want your own movies or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not going to get a trilogy if you keep telling people not to watch the movie, Ryan.
Yeah.
Be good. No, you're right. It could be. I mean, the dynamic may be correct. Them working, and they have said in interviews, both of them, that their interaction with each other's the play off the characters is really good. So we know they have scenes together. We've seen images of them together, so we know they get together. I think the idea that she seeks out Kylo to train her or whatever, I don't think that's necessarily it's going to happen.
Especially after the first, the Force Awakens,
right?
The thought I had was like, what's the island they're on?
Octu.
My thought was like the First Order finds out where they are. There's this rift between like Luke and Rey, and they fight or whatever. And then the First Order shows up and like burns the place to the ground. She's pissed at Luke and tells him like, I'm trying to find my way here. Like, I need someone to help me. And that's the point where he offers her help. But I don't know. That's the way they made it seem in the trailer. Obviously, that could be a huge red herring.
It could. I mean, some things we were fairly certain of, that there's a rift between Rey and Luke.
Yeah.
That she very likely willingly goes with Kylo to Snoke. That there is a fight between the Knights of Ren and presumably Luke and Rey on Octu. These things are all true. We've seen images, etc.
Why would Rey go with Kylo willingly to Snoke?
So I have two predictions. So the first is that he offers her the information she wants, who she is. She hates him in a lot of ways, so I don't think that that's very likely to be the reason she goes with him, but it is an option. The more likely, I think I mentioned this in one of our other podcasts, they have something on her mother.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain that her mother's alive.
I could see that, but I mean, other than that, I can't really think of a reason that she would willingly, at this point, go to Snoke.
Yeah.
Nor can I. I can't imagine her and Luke having such a rift created between them that she's like, you know what? I'm out.
Screw you! I'm going to the other side.
They're nicer on the dark side.
Yeah, because
They are. We have cookies.
like her and Han were close,
Get out of
you
here,
know,
Jedi.
and it was like, you know, I feel like murdering Han Solo was a big. That's a big thing where she's not gonna like, you know, ask for help from
Right.
she hates.
Yeah, I mean,
like
and
she
the whole
thinks he's a
him trying to
monster.
get inside of her head, and they did not have a very pleasant interaction.
No, it's nothing about their interactions. And I mean, we know in The Force Awakens, she wanted to kill him in that moment.
Oh, absolutely.
She had to come back
You
from
could
that
see it
feeling.
on her face.
Yeah.
Oh, she wanted
Actually,
it.
in a novelization of that, she had a voice in her head saying it would be so easy to kill him right now. Just do it.
One
Just do it.
vicious strike.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was like Emperor Palpatine's like Force ghost
Yeah.
or whatever, like saying that in her head,
Right.
which gives credence to the whole like she's a Palpatine theory.
So you have this idea that she goes willingly, which is fine, but the idea that she does it because she's just pissed off and she's like, I'm going to go to Kylo, he's nice.
Meh.
No, she fucking hates Kylo. She's not going to unhate Kylo. She might start to feel some sympathy for him, especially if there is a rift created between her and Luke, you know, because she's like, Luke probably was the same fucking way with him. So there might be that dynamic, but she's never going to be like, Kylo, let's make babies.
Yeah, let's be friends.
No. It's a betrayal of her character, but it just doesn't make any sense. Storytelling-wise, it's just kind of weird to be like, oh, yeah, all that stuff from the first one. Nah.
Just kidding.
kidding.
I actually really enjoy being around you.
But who knows why? I really do think that someone's forcing her in some way.
Yeah, I could see the whole we have your mother, or we know where your mother is.
Yeah, something
sort
along
of
those
thing.
lines.
Or family, or however.
Something that's going to...
Probably a mother.
I mean, she's compassionate. We'll see. I mean, again, this is one of those things where there's not really a bad answer, I think. They're not going to do something that's so over the top that you're just like,
What?
ew, no, cut this shit out. No, there'll definitely be a lot of speculation leading up to it. I'm pretty sure probably the beginning of third act when this happens, that about an hour before that we'll see it. You know, we'll see that build up of where it's going. And you'll be like, fucking course. That makes perfect sense.
You can't forget the whole like Rey's lineage thing is going to be a big part of this movie. Like when development started on this movie, Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams said, no, like we're answering that in a big way, and that's going to be a big part of the movie. So, I mean,
it would explain why everybody wants her.
Right.
Kylo wants her. Snoke wants her. Everybody wants her.
Yeah. And so they're saying that the reveal will rival that of Empire, you know, which there's no way, but
that's tough. Yeah.
right? Yeah. They can shoot for the stars.
They can
I'm not
try.
doing that.
Yeah.
But the idea that they want to have such a big reveal, and we know again from Rian Johnson that the Snoke aspect of the story is not really delved into, like who he is. I'm sure they're gonna give us just enough for when we go into the third movie,
It's a 9, yeah.
and it is heavily focused on what that means.
Yeah.
So we'll get a taste. We'll at least know if he's an ancient, you know, emperor, or if he's a will or whatever. We'll know that much.
Yeah.
But the reveal of Rey's parents has to be big. You know, it can't it can't just be like, oh, well, everyone's been speculating that for 2 years, like the whole
she's a Skywalker
thing.
Yeah.
Which is one of those things, if it happens, I really don't think I can come back
I will
from
burn
that.
down that theater.
No, I don't think that. I think it's either Kenobi or a Palpatine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there is some stuff from Battlefront 2 that came out where people were thinking, and I just think there's no way that they would
and
give
that's
that.
been disproven so many times.
Yeah, I think
now
that's
it's
such
not
a
even
little-
thing anymore.
And they're not Force users. You don't just birth the most
don't
powerful
have
Force
two
user
non-Force
in
users.
generations.
Yeah.
From it's like, oh, they're on Jakku.
Yeah.
No.
Don't care.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
And I don't imagine Snoke would want her if she was descendant of light side. Because if it didn't matter light side, dark side, he could just suck the shit out of Kylo.
Right.
I think it's very specific.
It is. And I think that we're going to see that kind of come into play when we learn about Snoke's dynamic with these characters, why he is the way he is and the way he goes about it. We're going to learn why her parentage matters. And I would accept 2 things. I would accept that I guess 3 things. I would accept her being a Kenobi. I doubt it, but I would accept that. Her being a Palpatine, her being a Kenobi, or her being someone we don't even know, which is okay with me. Her parentage is not nearly as important to me as her not being a Skywalker.
Yes, exactly.
Whoever it is fine, as long as it's not Luke.
Yeah.
Joe from the Outer Ring.
Right. Okay, I can take that.
Cool.
But yeah, that's probably my biggest concern going in, is if they're going to just fold to the pressure of the universe and make her a fucking Skywalker.
No,
because it'll
burn down the theater, and then I would get in the car and I would drive to Disney and burn down Cinderella's fucking castle and protest.
There's just no way. Like, I just can't see that being the case.
Nor can I. And there's no real evidence to support that that's even likely. Right. I mean, it's so lazy.
I think there's more
everything.
evidence to point to the opposite.
Right.
That she's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that she's like some type of, I don't know, like there was a theory going around about some type of like immaculate conception too.
I heard that, but you're gonna do that twice, Disney?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, and again, the only Skywalker theory I would accept, I don't know if we discussed this in the Skywalker episode, is if Anakin was in fact not an immaculate conception, that he has a Force user father out there somewhere who spawned more children. And so they are like cousins or whatever. I would accept that.
Cousins 3 times removed.
Yeah, I would accept that.
Okay. It's lazy still, I think.
It is lazy.
Yeah, I do too.
And it is a lot of story you have to tell, like how he helped create. And he would be so old by the time she was born. He'd be like in his 70s at the least.
Right. Well, if he was, this incredible Force user, maybe he... I don't know.
He's like Aragorn, like his family ages slowly.
Yeah. I honestly think the most obvious part of it too is like the British accent. Like Palpatine or Kenobi were the only other characters that really had British accents. So
We'll see.
it's like
6 days.
No.
is it really 6 days?
No,
It'll be 6 days when this airs.
When this airs, it'll be
I was like,
6 days.
shit,
Yeah.
man.
It's like 11 right now.
Yeah.
Still very close.
So close.
Yeah.
Feeling
Well,
it.
wait,
So
what
good.
time is it?
Right.
We
Actually,
might
at
be
this time,
10 hours.
for those watching, at this time we will be that we're filming this. It is almost 8 o'clock. Not this Thursday, but Thursday after. We'll be in our seats at the movie theater, watching horrible movie theater pre-screen garbage.
Yeah.
Very likely to get a Solo trailer in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
See, I don't know about that. Like, I think that the last thing a theater wants, or like, I don't know. The last thing I think Star Wars wants to do is get you thinking about another movie right before you see this movie. Like,
That's a pretty good point.
I like
That is a
just-
very good point.
But I mean, as soon as that fucking in the galaxy far, far away shit comes on the screen, my mind is going to be blank of everything else in the world except
Yeah.
for that.
Your
That's a good
mind
point.
is, yeah, the Star Wars super fans' mind, but like the masses' minds,
The
especially
casual viewer.
Yeah, they're
That is true.
yeah.
Maybe, but the hard part is we're getting it in 6 months. It's coming out. You know,
Jesus, man.
we're so close to it already.
Do we think they're gonna push that back at all?
No, they're not pushing it back.
Really?
No,
Because I know there was
They
like
keep pushing back
extensive
9.
reshoots.
9's not going to be here for like 10 years now.
Right.
It's 2, right? They pushed it 2 years, so we don't have them in-
2019.
Well, it's still going to be the time
December.
frame. It'll be 2 years like we originally expected. But they gave us like this taste. They're like, oh, it's going to come out 6 months earlier than that. And everyone rejoiced. You know, that we only have to wait 18 months between the two
Haha,
sagas.
kidding.
JK, another 6 months on top of
24
that.
months, yeah.
But for the most part, I think you are right that it may not drop, but it's going to drop it with some Disney release. So I
It's
really
got to
doubt
be
they're going to.
soon. I mean,
The only other thing I can think of is they're dropping it with Black Panther, but that's only going to give it 3 months before it drops. Before it actually comes out in theaters, we're going to get a trailer. I doubt it. Or maybe they don't release it with the movie and they just release it online. It's not
or
like
like with the Super Bowl or something.
Yeah, because
even
everyone
that's
thought that
February, right? I don't watch football. I don't know.
January, February.
everyone,
Football.
everyone thought we were gonna get an Infinity War trailer with Thor Ragnarok, and it was like no, because they didn't want to sour the hype on that.
That's true. And there's fucking spoilers in the Infinity War trailer.
Exactly. Or I was like, they're probably gonna wait for the hype to die down on Thor. Then they're gonna release that trailer to get you hyped back up on going out and seeing Thor again. And the same thing with Star Wars. I think like they're gonna wait for Star Wars to have been out for a couple weeks, and then once hype dies down on Star Wars, they're gonna put out a Han Solo trailer, get you back on the Star Wars train, and get people back into the theaters again.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think that's
That
like a
makes more sense.
marketing
Yeah.
ploy, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe like
That
2
does
weeks,
make a lot of
the end of the
sense.
year,
Yeah.
beginning of the year kind of time frame.
Man, I want to
Here,
see some
Happy
more
New
Star
Year.
Wars
Here's some
now.
Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am pretty excited about the Solo trailer. I'm excited about the Solo movie. I love Han Solo.
Me too.
That's the one thing I'm apprehensive about. Like, I just, man, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel.
I
about it.
love Rogue One.
I mean, I love
Oh,
Rogue One.
yeah.
I love Han Solo, but I think like Han Solo is just a character that's so close to people's hearts, and
It's
trying
true.
to find
Very close.
And
It's
Han
true.
Solo has like, even if you find someone that looks exactly like him, there's this quality that he has just in his
He
attitude
better
and
have
the way he
spent a
speaks.
lot of time with Harrison Ford.
Right.
Yeah.
Just studying the man. Because
Right.
if he's not fucking perfect,
Yeah,
I'm going to be upset.
a lot of people will. You know,
And I mean, they kind of have to because the time frame is only a couple years before we see Han Solo in A New Hope.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like he has so much aging to do.
Right.
it's like it's not like 10 or 15 years before. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty close.
We'll see. And you're right. There's a lot of, nostalgia there, and expectations are so high.
Yeah.
And I think Disney knows that when they fired the original directors, that they had to really focus on the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And-
put a really good feeling in my little heart, my
Yeah.
little black heart.
And they did
for
the same
that.
thing with when they brought back J.J. Abrams. Like, they're not afraid to kick some ass,
Yeah.
to
If
get
it's
the
not
story
perfect,
right.
kick rocks. We'll bring somebody
Right.
else who will make it perfect.
And, again, I mean, Ron Howard is a hell of a director.
Oh, yeah.
And the idea that this being kind of like a Western-ish kind of tone.
Western in space.
Yeah. Well, that's Star Wars as a whole. I mean, they're space westerns. You know, they're
Right.
cowboys in
Space
space
operas.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's true, but I
Right.
think that the success of Rogue One being a pretty much a war story,
Yeah.
it feels like a war story. I mean, it is a war story. It's a war film.
Yeah.
That they're like, okay, we can kind of move away from the certain tones, as we
Yeah.
said earlier, and we can play with it.
And that was like George Lucas's favorite. Like, I know he's not a fan of Force Awakens, and I think he really did like Rogue One just because it was like you did something different. And
Yeah, he probably didn't like Force Awakens because the reason they had to make it the way they did to fix his fuck ups.
yeah,
He probably feels a little bit of animosity there. He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
these motherfuckers.
Well, that was like the first. That was like. It's like you get divorced and that's your ex-wife's first boyfriend. You know?
Right.
It's like, man, I hate that motherfucker. you
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah.
That's a perfect way of putting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. But hopefully, I mean, with The Last Jedi right around the corner, it is tonally different. We'll see how it's received because of that. I think we should go over our top, like what we want the most and what we want the least. Not her being a Skywalker. We know that's not what we want.
That's what I
let's-
want the least.
Right? So let's go over that. it's important going in to have reasonable expectations of Star Wars. You know, nothing's gonna be perfect. As much as we want it to be perfect, it's just not. But it's good to have your high point, what's like the most important thing of the movie, and then the thing you want the least. Yeah. So that way, you, as long as you're in the middle, you're okay. So that'd be fun to go over what we think the most important part that we're expecting, and the part that we absolutely do not want to see. But again, no Rey Skywalker. We know that no one wants that, except for assholes on the internet. Let's start with Ben. What's your most important thing you want to see in The Last Jedi?
I'm setting my expectations pretty low, honestly. Like, I just want some skilled lightsaber battles, honestly. That was one of my only complaints about Force Awakens, was the same complaint that Samuel L. Jackson had about it, which was like, those kids need to go to lightsaber school. Like,
Not enough flips.
Yes,
well,
more
yeah.
Prancies.
Right.
Yeah, I do want to see some more. Like, I'm excited to see like Rey getting trained a little bit and seeing her become more skilled with the lightsaber, and be able to match Kylo Ren, who's already trained with it and he already knows. And hopefully we'll see the Knights of Ren, which is still a thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's still
Yeah.
So
We'll probably see them like do something for the first time, like their introduction. I mean, they've been introduced, but them doing some shit, not just
a vision.
Yeah. So yeah, I think more skilled lightsaber. And the thing I don't want to see, man, I don't know. Like, there's not much they could do. I don't think that would upset me. That they're just
outside of the Skywalker thing,
right?
I really don't want to see them like. I don't want to see a lot of elements from Empire Strikes Back. Like, I'd really like to not see. Because that was one of my only complaints about Force Awakens, was there's so many similarities between the plot of A New Hope and that. So as long as they,
it was A New Hope.
yeah, which is understandable to
Yeah.
you know, kind of get people back in there and back excited, you know, for it.
Yeah. But I mean, as long as they go away from that and do something new, then that's what I want.
So my thing I don't want to see is the same thing. I don't want Empire. I love Empire. I don't want a second Empire. I want them to have elements of it, you know, that transition to the darker side. Definitely, you know, more in your face, kind of showing the struggle. But overall, I want the storyline to start going in a far different direction. I do not want to see Kylo Ren kill Snoke on a fucking ship, and him and Rey go off into the fucking sunset. Like, they need to make that sharp turn away from the New Hope that they created, and really give us something new. And I really do think that we're gonna get that. So while it's my thing I want to see the least, I'm not really that concerned with it. The thing I want to see the most, I want to see a badass Yoda Force Ghost.
Okay.
I like just good looking Yoda. We have not gotten a good looking Yoda ever.
No, we haven't.
No.
I mean, good practical effects Yoda,
Sure,
but
but-
good CGI, like straight up good effects Yoda. That'd be awesome.
I heard a rumor that they have a Yoda puppet, the original puppet, on the
Use that
set somewhere.
motherfucker.
I want that with a little bit of CGI tweak, just a little bit, just to make the
Clean
talking
it
and
up a
stuff
little
clean.
bit.
Yeah.
I really do think, and I know again, I'm setting the bar low because I'm so psyched for this movie. I mean, I don't care what they do, to be honest.
Yeah.
But just to see like an awesome Yoda, that'd be so dope. Especially watching Luke talk to a badass Yoda, it would just be so cool.
Yeah.
But
I honestly think like they're gonna do good with it. Like, I'm not worried about this movie at all.
No.
So, yeah.
what about you? Faith?
Okay, things I don't want to see, again, all very similar. Don't want to see another Empire. Empire is my most favorite Star Wars film of all time. Leave it amazing. Do something new. I do want to see it shoot off. I want to get away from the Skywalkers. You know, let's end this story and start something new. So I want to see more action from characters we haven't seen a lot from. I want to see more Phasma. I want to see more Snoke. I want to see Kylo throw all his little fits. I love it when the,
I love the fits.
Skywalkers fucking lose their shit and start throwing shit and force choking people. Can we see somebody more force choking? Can we bring that back?
Yeah.
Can we see that?
I'd be down for that.
I want to see like multiple force chokes.
Yes.
I mean, we know that Kylo can like. I don't even want to see him do the pinching. I just want him to like force choke shit with his mind while he's doing other shit, like paying his fucking taxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone interrupts
I
him.
thought you were gonna say painting his nails. He's
Both.
like this, and the motherfucker in the
Black.
background's like choking to death.
Black nails, of course.
Black one, red one.
Yep. You're right. That'd be great. More force usage. That's because when he stops that blaster
And holds it there.
and holds
Man,
it
that's
there
the
while doing
whole
other
time.
shit,
That's
Like, while
like
he's
one of
doing
my
a-
favorite
yeah.
scenes.
that is so good that I hope that we see more shit like that. You know,
Yeah.
I want to see
Yep.
and I want to see like with the skilled lightsaber stuff. I don't want this Samuel L. Jackson flipping around stuff. That it kills it for me.
I don't need it
Only-
flipping around.
Only-
legit
I know.
swordsmanship.
Yeah.
I like it from Yoda because it makes
Well,
perfect
he's
sense
this
for him,
tall.
like his fighting style to be like flipping around in the air. But just seeing some of the training videos of them getting ready for this movie, I think we're going to see like at least 2 multi-person fights, one against many. And I think that is going to give us that just like awesome lightsaber fights. Kylo Ren versus the guards, Rey versus the Knights of Ren, something along those lines. It's going to be so cool looking. And it's just going to be all the action right there. Super choreographed, like old school kung fu awesomeness.
Love it. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is another one of those things I'm pretty stoked on.
Yeah.
I just want to see Mark Hamill, man. I want to see Luke
like,
Skywalker so bad.
The scene, the TV spot where like Ray is trying to fight something and he's like, "Fight it, Ray!" Like that was like for some reason that cut of him doing that. It was like, holy shit! Like I'm seeing Mark Hamill act in person for the first time. Like I've heard his voice on Joker and
Oh,
shit,
yeah,
but
for
like
sure.
seeing
Yeah.
him act for the first time in so many years is just like, man, that is so
Like
cool.
I, goosebumps. Thinking
Yeah.
about it. It's-
Yeah.
yeah,
And this is like Luke Skywalker. I don't know, it's such
a
big
real Luke Skywalker after so long is just gonna be so amazing.
And hopefully he's grown and matured over the years, because, I mean, he was a whiny little bitch.
No,
They
no,
all
no
are.
Tasha's
Skywalker
All
is
to
Skywalkers all are, but
get some power converters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're definitely gonna see him.
Uncle Owen.
He's gonna be a broken man, and I want to see that. I want to see him come back from that. I think I think we're gonna be blown away by Mark Hamill's performance.
Yeah. I
think
mean,
people
he's a
are-
great
And
actor.
you can see that just on his face and in the little trailers.
Yep,
It's
those
gonna
little
be
snippets.
intense.
I mean, his expressions.
Yes.
Even the 2 fucking seconds we had at the end of Force Awakens with him, like that tells a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
We've been talking about it for 2 fucking years, and all we do is see his fucking face.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this performance is gonna fucking blow everyone away, and everyone's gonna be so into that character again, you know, that when we move forward and we eventually end the Skywalker tale, we'll be like, okay, I accept this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how it should be. Go on, Star Wars, do your thing. And no one's gonna be like, but Skywalkers, I loved it.
But they're all going to be dead.
Luke
Yeah.
will die. Hashtag spoilers. It has to happen.
Yeah. I
Luke
think-
has to die. It's
All the
just one of those things.
Skywalkers are going to die.
Yeah.
But Rey will live. Fuck your face. Yeah, so going in, just super excited. Very much looking forward to this movie. I don't think I've been hyped up for a movie like this in my fucking life. I remember being a kid with the prequels coming out and being pretty excited. But now I'm this grown-ass man who has countdowns on his phone,
Yeah.
who checks it every fucking 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Just to be reminded how close we are.
Fish hook!
But again, super excited, and we'll be bringing a live Twitter video right after our viewing.
Immediately
It'll be a
following.
spoiler-free reaction
Just,
video.
Overall
Nice.
reactions.
Nothing, no details. The week after that, we will be doing a full review with all the fucking spoilers.
Yeah, so go watch the fucking movie.
So watch the movie, enjoy it. Don't ruin it for your fucking friends like an asshole.
Yeah,
if you're one of those
seriously.
people on Facebook who just like, oh, let's talk about Star Wars, and
30
you're a
seconds
dick.
after the movie comes out.
you're a dick.
Yeah, just don't
Just
do
die.
it. There's like a week, I think.
Yeah.
Like at least
week's good.
week.
A week's good.
Some I don't know yet.
Even
Maybe even
even
two.
if you want to be like pretty conservative, at least waiting the weekend.
Through the weekend.
You know, wait till Monday.
Yeah.
Not, some of us work, people.
Yeah,
You're right.
like,
Some of us have to work
yeah.
weekends.
I work multiple jobs and I just don't have time to see
Right.
it until Saturday. So it's like, and I'm a hardcore fan.
I'm
You
gonna
need to
send
you
you
need to
all the
think of Ben
spoilers.
Yeah.
whenever
please.
you're before you post those spoilers.
Yeah.
This poor man, he's gonna have to wait 2 days.
Just send them all to him.
I'm gonna be My phone's going to be off.
That's probably very smart.
Radio silence.
Yeah, complete radio silence. I'm not looking at shit.
I can appreciate that. But, of course, we won't be spoiling it for anyone because that's a dick move. So our review will just be our reactions to it, how we feel coming out of it. After that, doing another review, full review, and kind of where it's going to be going from there with all the spoilers. Yeah. As always, you can follow us on social media here. I don't know where else pointing. It's going to be on the screen somewhere. You can follow Nerd Church Radio.
Yeah.
Right?
On iTunes.
iTunes. I'm going to put the link right here.
Actually, we're on a hiatus right now, too.
Oh.
I do another podcast.
You should catch up on their catalog.
Catch up.
Yeah. I do one called Glitch Therapy where you can follow us, though. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
Glitch Therapy.
Video game podcast.
We'll also put a link.
Here. I'm going to put it over his face. Right here. Yeah. SoundCloud. We're on SoundCloud. Be sure to subscribe.
Push the button.
Insert all the typical video stuff. Do this, do that. We love your support. All 25 of you.
It's just 5.
They make multiple accounts so we feel better.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happens?
I think so. We appreciate it. This felt good. This was a good episode. I hope you guys liked it. We do really appreciate your patronage. Leave a comment below. Let us know your predictions, what you most want and least want. I love to hear them. If you say that you want Rey to be a Skywalker, die. Just unsubscribe first.
And then
I don't
die.
want your Force Ghost on my channel. Yo. You disgrace. But no, if that's how you feel, say la vie. But again, we really appreciate you guys coming to hang out with us this week. I hope you guys go see Star Wars soon. Thank you, Ben, for stopping by and being on the podcast.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Welcome
anytime.
back anytime.
Yeah.
You guys have a good day.
Where's the singing take?
I don't know. It's late.
Try that again.
Okay. Welcome to another episode of Tale from Tatooine podcast. I'm Jacob.
I'm Fish.
And I'm Ben.
God damn it.
What's that?
My fucking phone going off. Round 2.
It was, yeah, I was going to say, it's a canon ringtone for
Yeah.
this podcast.